And there we go. Well, good evening and welcome to the Arbor Hills Nature Preserve in Plano, Texas. Tonight's exercise is a field test of the NEXTORCH TA70. I do want to thank NEXTORCH for sending me this light. In fact, they gave it to me at SHOT Show. Well, let me get the box out of the way and let's see what we have here. Yep, another one, flat form factor. So of course you have the internal battery. Very interesting tail cap switch here. That's the charging port. This is your basic operation of output levels. Output modes are selected by this switch. You have lock, duty, and then tack. Well, lock is pretty much self-explanatory. Duty gives you access to the cycle of low, medium, and high outputs. Tack is momentary, turbo, and strobe. I'm going to go over a couple of things regarding the UI in the next chapter. I want to make this introduction extremely short. You have half press here, half press and hold, full press, or a click. In duty mode, it's awfully simple. You can half press to preview the current output level, click or full press and then release to select that output level, and then subsequent half presses go through the cycle, full press and release to turn off. So easy that even I can do it. Of course, I suspect most of us are going to wish that this clip was deeper. I do need to do some more testing, put this in a knife pocket, take it out on a long drive, get in and out of my truck, see if there's any issue. I have not had any issues with it so far, strapping it to my ruck or wearing it in another pocket. The glass breaking beads here, and of course the nice tack ring. Yeah, you can do all that stuff with it. Okay, blah blah blah. That's about it for the ultra quick introduction. I want to show you a couple things about the UI in the next chapter. If you're already on board with everything, that's cool. You know the score. Just go to the subsequent chapter and we will get right into beam shots. Okay, here are a couple things for you to look at, particularly if you are in law enforcement and private security. First of all, say that I do like this switch in general, particularly if I have gloves. It's very easy to operate, and it's not like something that just has a small amount of motion where you could try to go from, let's say, the rightmost end to the middle and accidentally push it well over to the left. That's not going to happen to you. But here's a couple considerations. First of all, we're in duty, so you know the score. Half press, look at there. Okay, we're in low. Full press and release. Now I've selected low. There's medium. There's high. So we're on high. Turn it off. Turn it back on. We're on low. Yeah, no memory. Okay, well, it may get worse depending on how you look at these things. There's no direct to turbo from duty mode, but you have a turbo mode. To get to it, you have to go to tack, because tack is momentary turbo, momentary strobe. Oh yeah, you're right. That means no direct to strobe from duty. So let's suppose I've got the light on and I switch it directly, watch here, over to tack. Now my light is off. I can half press release to get turbo. Here comes strobe. I'm still holding, release, it's back off. Then if I go back to duty, it's still off. So switching between let's say, a search application into something where you need maximum illumination quickly, and you're in that duty mode, you don't have it. If you're in TAC mode, you only have one output, and you're required to keep your thumb on that switch in order to activate that output. As soon as you take the light and you want to put it over here and have it pointed in that direction, it is off. All right, that's the basics of what I wanted to show you. For me personally, if I go back to my private security and police volunteer patrol days, well, first of all, I'd have trouble getting past the internal battery. But yeah, the UI, that would be a non-starter with me. I'm just telling you what my perspective is. I don't want to try and influence you too much, but I do need to show it to you so that you can look at it, you can think about it, and then you can make up your own mind. And coming up to the bridge where I normally do output level testing, we are in duty mode. This is the low output level. Half press for medium. We still have a good 40 plus yards line of sight this time of year. And there is the high output level. Move that up while I move the phone side to side, and you can get an idea of the field of view. Notice now that if I move over into TAC, light goes off. And continuing in TAC mode, half press and hold. There is turbo, strobe is next. Full press and hold. Release to off. Move back to duty mode. Click. Notice we are in low, then back to medium and high. Once again, I switch over into TAC. The light is off. And first practical exercise of the evening, close quarters search. You know the drill. The scenario is your kids were out here playing earlier, drop something, now you have to look for it. Low, not bad at all right in front of me, but as I go out in distance, especially if I'm looking for something non-reflective, for me, that's just not doing it. Medium, all right, maybe overkill for right in front of me, but if I just wanted to leave it in one output level and be able to do a good search right in front of me, 15, maybe even 20 yards down range, look out over here towards the swing set, especially if I'm looking for something reflective. This gets the job done, even helps light up some of these darker pockets. So yeah, this is the output level that I would go with for this particular application. For path following, low just does not get it. You're really probably going to have to stick in medium. Gives you good visibility for everything in front of you. I would say acceptable, not great, but acceptable downrange. Yeah, this is the output you want. Just lock it in and go. And this is a high output test. We're going to start looking in this direction. This is a more darker enclosed environment. Again, a good 40 yards line of sight. And then my surroundings are just going to get more open and lighter as I continue moving around to the right. Okay, so we're getting out to about that 70, 75 yard range right in here. I could certainly do detection. Identification is going to get very difficult. Then I move right here. The gap between those two trees is at 100. So that'll give you a rough idea of what you can get out of the high output level. Okay, I'm going to do a quick turbo burn down. This is my headlamp. So that's the tree line I'm going to be looking at. I'm looking at a gap that I've got a good 68, 70 yards line of sight right in there. So let me get the headlamp off. And there we go, starting in turbo. So you can see very generous field of view. It's not that high a candela light. And I can definitely, if I move my fingers up, I can definitely feel some good heat at the head area of the light. I think we can start seeing a little step down now for something that's intended for just momentary and extremely short use. Not bad, but I do want to show you what you would be up against if you had to use this for, let's say, a minute or more. Now you're really seeing the step down, and it is very appreciable. All right, I'm going to let it run just a little longer. I think we've gone well beyond what the light was intended for in turbo output, and this is looking very much like a steady state. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it down now, and I'll point out that there's little or no heat now, so regulation is definitely doing its job. All right, I have not done one of these summaries in a long time, so we're just going to walk through the picnic area here. I'm low right now, medium, let's look at high. There we go with backlighting. Then we'll come over here. I'll do one more comparison for you. So let's look out in this direction. We'll call this a reference shot. This is in the high output level. Now what I'm going to do is switch to tack mode. Notice that the light goes off, half press and hold, and there is turbo. So that's a high to turbo comparison for you. I do hope you saw everything you needed tonight. If not, leave a comment. I will see what I can do. And as always, until the next review, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for watching the video.